All right, I guess we're live. I guess I didn't see anything happen there.
Okay, awesome. So you look very familiar. I feel like I've seen you before.
Yeah, I know. Let's see what is going on here. We didn't have our opening. We didn't have anything happen.
Oh no, the
Let's see.
gremlins got to your computer, Robert.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here.
It's live.
We're going through. I can hear us on YouTube. Where are my comments?
I'm not seeing any on my end either. So
Not either. Maybe nobody's in there. Michelle's in there. Hey, Michelle, drop a comment so we can see what's coming through.
oh, it popped up. There she is.
Yep.
Yes, this is very weird, unusual. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael hears us. Hey, Michael's here. Hello,
Awesome.
hello.
Hey, Michael. Yeah, it's going to take me forever to iron out how to do all this right. I swear. So
Don't even feel bad. When we did the show on Friday, I had no idea what I was doing, man.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. I was just pressing buttons and hoping it works.
Oh, somehow it has dropped my intro video. I don't know how. But anyway, let me fix that.
Did you go to brand when you went to StreamYard?
Yeah, I had it reselected and it dropped it out.
Weird.
Yeah, I got it fixed now, but of course we're already in. But we'll have our outro.
There you go.
Who cares? All right. So what do we want to talk about? Well, I'll talk about a little bit about what I've got going on for the channel first.
Sure.
In the future. So coming up on the 7th, if everything goes right, we're going to premiere with the show, a pre-recorded show, this interview with Jody Cook from the North American Dogman Project. He doesn't do a whole lot of interviews with anybody, so I was really gifted that he decided he was going to do that. I thank Kenny a lot for that, Kenny Thibodeau, because he got in there and he talked to Jody and he's like, dude, do this one. I was like, cool. So anyway, doing that one, I've got Daniel Williams coming up from Cryptid Wrangler.
Nice.
Who we're both going to be working together with in the very near future. I've got a gentleman who's in the Monstrous group who's got some Bigfoot stuff happening in Arkansas. Trying to get some UFO stuff, some other stuff, more paranormal stuff going on as far as interviews. We've got quite a few lined up. I'm trying to get with Kenny. I want Kenny on. I know he's going to do it. I'm working on getting with Jenna Jameson. Yeah, Jenna Jameson. With getting with what is her name? The Cryptid Huntress. Working with her.
Okay.
So a lot of people.
Nice. Sounds exciting, man.
Yeah. So we're lining up shows for the next 6 months or so. So
you'll have to get William Nighthawk on at some point.
Oh, too. Yes, I absolutely want him on.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely want him on. I've discovered another channel on YouTube. You saw it. I posted a thing with some of the Navajo skinwalker stuff.
Yes.
So it's really interesting. I figure as many sources as I can pull that, start reading some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Jessica Jones, thank you very much, Joe. Jessica Jones.
I should have remembered her name, man, because that's a comic book character from Marvel. So
exactly, she's one of the Defenders, I believe. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm horrible with names.
Yeah, well, me too. I forget my name most of the time, so
I forget your name all the time. So.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't blame you. I forget it on purposely too. Oh, Beth is here. Hey, Beth.
Hey, Beth. Nice to have you here, ma'am.
That's one of my people right there.
I know. Mm-hmm. That is awesome.
Well, if you want paranormal, actually talk to Beth because she's friends with Nicole. Nicole's a paranormal investigator.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Michelle said, right, shame on y'all.
For shame.
We are shameful.
Oh, here come the police. We did something wrong, Robert. Here they come.
Yep. As long as they don't bring the little white jacket, I'm okay. That thing's too tight.
It's supposed to be one size fits all.
Yep. So they say.
Yeah, Beth investigates too. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim. Here's my Pennsylvania, Ohio guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could talk to Beth, too. Beth does do paranormal investigations as well.
I'd love to. Beth, you need to get in contact with me. I'll get in contact with you.
They're both really sweet people, too. You're going to love Beth and Nicole. Yeah, we'll try to run too, Michael, but we won't get very far.
Yeah. I'm not running. I'm too old for that shit.
I'm too lazy. I'm just be like, really? Whatever, dude.
Just come get me. Take me away.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody's got any questions for us, ask away. Well, that's what we're here for. That's what these live shows are about. They're a whole lot more relaxed, and that's your opportunity to ask questions about any of the previous shows, upcoming shows, anything you want to see, anything you want to hear about, whatever.
Yep. Yeah, so next week on my show, I'm going to be covering the Yipina, the horned serpent from the Cherokee legend.
Ooh, that's going to be good.
It's a neat
so
little
who are you going to have on there?
I don't know yet. I might do it solo, but if somebody wants to come on, they're welcome to come on and talk about it.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Cool.
I mean, it's a cool story. It's a sea serpent that had antlers like a deer, and supposedly it had a frill like the Dilophosaurus made out of diamonds.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So shiny.
Yeah. Shiny, scaly, pointy, and deadly.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So we've just started our new season of Soul Eaters. Yeah, we were watching a thing about Soul Eaters. Go ahead. Michelle's got a question.
Oh, Soul Eaters? You mean like the Raven Mocker and things along those lines?
No, we were watching. Remember I told you about that new channel that we were watching with the Navajo stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, he was talking about Soul Eaters on there.
They're taboo in a sense. They're not as taboo as the Yinaralushi.
Yeah.
Because, with them, it's a very local and very, present danger for them. Whereas the Soul Eaters, they do talk about them to warn people about them.
Yeah.
But it's not as forbidden. It's taboo to an extent.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting whenever he described it. Of course, it was more of a spiritual creature rather than being a cryptid.
Yeah.
So it was more of an entity. And the way he described it as coming out of the side of this cliff was like the skull of a lion.
Yes.
And then it was like a lot of its parts were made from human body parts. So it was really interesting.
That's something that you find though with the indigenous lore is that basically everything in there is extremely spiritual. It's more an entity than a flesh and blood creature.
Right.
Even Bigfoot is seen as a spiritual creature and not a flesh and blood beast. So it's because all the tribes are very connected to nature. Everything has a purpose and a reason for it. And when Bigfoot does things, it's always for a very spiritual, high purpose kind of reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now she's going to have that Moana song in her head, she said.
It's not my fault. Well, yeah, actually kind of is, but all right. Sorry, Michelle.
Actually, I mentioned Shiny quite a bit, knowing that song would get stuck in her head.
Oh, you're evil, Robert. Why would you do that to your wife, man?
Well, she'll get even with me, trust me.
I hope she does. I encourage her to do that. 100%.
So anyway, we just started our second season of the investigation up in Missouri with the Bigfoot stuff. Really didn't have much going on that first night we were doing, or any of the nights so far. Mostly doing the interviews with the guys who were there during the original eyewitness stuff. We did have some whistles that were recorded. They sent those to me. Found some tree breaks. Apparently a large black bear was spotted up there. Yeah, a very large black bear apparently. Some mountain lion tracks were recovered. Now this was after I left. While I was up there, the only thing we did hear one yell, but it happened so sporadically that there was no chance that and there was only one, there was no chance that we would have ever had a recorder ready or anything like that. We just happened to be standing outside talking, and the cabin was full of people that were talking, and we just happened to hear it.
Nice.
Yeah, and had, a couple of orbs and stuff like that out in the woods. Matter of fact, Richard, my co-investigator, he caught a strange orb and did get it on film and sent it to me. So I'll have that on the video for that. So
that's awesome.
On that. Yeah.
Exciting. I'm actually looking into some jaguar sightings here in Arizona. So.
Oh yeah, there should be quite a bit of that going on.
Actually, you'd be really
actually surprised. I've got a couple of reports of jaguars up here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's weird for Arizona though, because they did live in the area at one point in time, but they were driven out. So for jaguars to be suddenly sighted so often here in AZ, it's very strange. It's very peculiar.
Yep. I got a report just the other day of one. We have an area that's called Crowley's Ridge, not too far from here. And there was a report of one that was all black, of course, as a black panther. Yeah. And they talked about it dragging a calf up a tree.
Well,
I was like, okay. Yep. That was a jaguar.
Please tell me I'm not the only one that heard Mr. Crowley when you mentioned Crowley.
Yeah.
I suddenly had Ozzy singing in my head, Mr. Crowley.
Most people around here call it Crowley's Ridge, but it's spelled Crowley.
Okay, fair enough. See, you should have listened to your wife.
I know, but my battery would have run out if I had my recorder on the entire time I was there.
Excuses, Robert.
It's all I've got.
Yeah. Jim's with me on that. I thought so. That's great. Buy more.
Buy more recorders.
Your wife is direct and straight to the point, isn't she?
Yes, she is. That's what I love about her.
I can tell.
One of many things.
There you go.
You're right, Beth. You're right.
Now you're going to be double teamed, Robert. Oh,
that's okay.
Yeah, I do have an empty slot though after next week for my show. If you want to come back on, it's up to you. I'm not going to hold you at gunpoint, but if you want to come back on, you're welcome.
Okay, all right. Nothing wrong with that. We might do that.
Yeah.
If nothing else, I'd be somebody for you to bounce ideas off of.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd really like to do a very comprehensive video on the Raven Mocker, and then do one on the Yinararushi, and then do one on the Genosqua, and all these different things. So they have cryptid profiles of sorts to look up and listen to.
Yeah. Don't be sorry, Kel. We love you for what you are. Yeah, anytime you've got, need of somebody on the show, I'm there.
Absolutely. You will be the first person I reach out to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I want to have Kenny on there, though. Kenny needs to come on my show. So, Kenny, if you're listening to this, you need to come on my show.
Yep. We're gonna drag him out of his 30-minute spot and make him do something.
Yeah, bring him out of his element.
Yes, completely.
See, I knew your wife would like that. Your wife would love those little cryptid profiles.
Yeah, those are handy.
What would be cool too is to kind of create intros for the show that are based on what we're talking about. So have a intro based on the Raven Mocker, an intro based on the Wendigo, the Skinwalkers, and all that. So it sets the mood.
I agree completely.
Jim's gonna have a lot of questions, huh? We welcome questions.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ask all
the more questions you got, the better.
Yeah.
So what I might do too is take a look at the older Dogman cases from Linda Godfrey's books, because I think those get ignored. If we're gonna find some answers to the Dogman case, we really have to start looking at older encounters.
Oh, I agree. I agree. And like as far as trying to build profiles and everything, that's another video that I'm working on still yet. Because the more I work on it, the more I find that I need to go deeper in depth.
Yes.
Because you start off with a project and you're kind of skimming the surface. It's kind of an outline, and
Hmm.
then the more you go along with it, you find out, oh, I can go a little deeper. I can go a little deeper, and it gets a little bit more involved. You end up a little farther down the rabbit hole than you ever thought you were going to go.
Oh, I know. Trust me, with my Wendigo book, wow, dude, my mind was blown with all the turns and twists that my investigation was going with. I'm just like, wow, okay,
Yeah,
didn't know we were gonna go there.
I can only imagine.
Hmm.
But yeah, with the stuff with the dog man, I mean, there's so much that we can start to bring to the surface as far as the profile of this thing. It's
Yeah.
actually weird because it really shouldn't make any sense,
No.
but it's starting to biologically make sense, which is
Yeah.
weird. So
Well, I mean, we need it to happen that way, though. We absolutely do need to have it happen that way if we're ever going to have answers. I mean, if we just had it not make sense, we're never going to ask the right questions, never going to know where to look. So we do need for it to start making some sort of sense.
yeah. One of the guys, Sloan, I cannot think of his first name. Anyway, he asked a question on his group, and it was a really interesting question, but it was one of those where we haven't compiled enough information yet. And it was an honest, if you had to put an opinion out there, how many of these do you think that there would be worldwide?
Ooh.
And yeah, that's a great question. But hey, Star Fox is here. Hey, there's
Hey,
Kenny.
Kenny. How you doing, brother Kenny? The thing is, though, is like we have to also boil down how many encounters and sightings are actually legit. Because we get a lot of fake encounters, Robert. That's
Yeah,
something that it happens on a daily basis. Same with Bigfoot, that we get all these stories that they're just that. They're stories. They're not true encounters.
right.
And we have to start whittling through those and decide which ones are real, which ones are authentic. Look into the information, look for the evidence, and then take it from there.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we could honestly, without being a mean person, we could probably knock out about 75% of the eyewitness encounters right off the top.
Yep. I mean, Dogman's become a popular topic. It's the boogeyman that everybody wants to talk about.
Right.
So, of course, people are going to come out of the woodwork and start talking about encounters that they didn't really have.
Exactly.
And I think that they need to realize, though, that it doesn't help the field. It actually damages the field.
Yeah. Hey, Kenny, we appreciate you coming by and giving us your support. We're going to drag you on here one day with both of us on here. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So don't edit your life away. So we're gonna have you on here.
Ooh. Michael's got a question, though.
Let's talk about skinwalkers. I get calls every week of a skinwalker in my area, southeast.
Where are you at exactly, Michael? You're in Georgia? Okay, so easiest way to answer this question for you, Michael, is if it's in Georgia, it's not a Yi, not a Dushi. Okay,
Nope.
And I talk about this every time I talk about the Yi, not a Dushi, is they need the 4 sacred mountains, and those are located in Arizona, Mexico, Colorado. Okay, so anything too far away from that area, not a skinwalker. It's more likely another kind of shapeshifter or a mimic. And mimics are actually pretty spooky themselves, so I wouldn't want to see a mimic either. But
Yeah.
Given the choice between the two, I'd definitely rather see a mimic before a Yi, not a Dushi. I'm not messing with those things.
It seems like out of the Appalachians, there's a lot of mimics that are coming out of that area.
Yep. Oh, well, thank you, Michael. I'm glad I can be of service to people.
I agree, Michael. That's exactly what I do. Anything skinwalker, anything Wendigo, I can go directly to Ryan.
No, I do appreciate you guys. Maybe we should cover that, though, too, is cover the difference between the Yi, not a Dushi and the mimics.
I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I'm starting to think it'd be a really good idea.
Well, you and I still need to do a show over the other tribes that have something similar to the
Sure.
Inalushi. So Yep. And there's a lot of confusion because they'll start to talk about, like the dog soldiers and things like that, and about how that's also like, but it's not.
It's really not. When you look into the actual history of the Cheyenne dog soldiers, it's got nothing to do with cryptozoology and nothing to do with dogman or skinwalkers. It's just they called them dog soldiers because of how they trained.
Right.
And how fierce and determined they were. They were like dogs.
Exactly.
And I think, that's something I need to work on too, is to bring that modicum of respect for the indigenous beliefs and traditions like the Cheyenne dog soldiers. For us to label it as a cryptid when we're not even looking at the history, it's disrespectful to the Cheyenne. We're actually basically telling the Cheyenne to go, piss off, and we shouldn't be doing that.
Right. I agree. 110%. Honestly, what I would like to see Ryan do, and I'm gonna set Ryan up for this. Since you're doing your Wendigo book, you've done your Wendigo book. I would like to see you do a series of books covering different tribes and their different entities.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I think you would be great at that.
That's a good idea. I may just have to do that.
That way we could collect, all the different volumes and everything.
That would be a really smart idea. Now that you mentioned that, that would be a really smart idea.
It would.
I think I may have to put that on my to-do list.
Yeah, that'll keep you busy, keep you off the streets.
Oh, you'll never see me, man. You'll never see me. It'll just be like, where's... Oh, right. I challenged him to write a series of books. That's where he's at. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I definitely should do that. That's a good idea. Thank you for that idea, Robert.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
Ooh, Beth lives near a burial ground. Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, you got to be careful there.
Yep. Civil War battlefield. Yeah. We actually have a cemetery that's less than a quarter of a mile away from us right now, and it has on one side of it is a secret group burial area where a whole lot of Civil War soldiers were it was just a mass grave where they were. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm actually surprised that there's no activity out of that cemetery, but there's none.
Yeah, that is kind of shocking. You would think there'd be a whole bunch of weird events taking place there, but
yeah.
Just be careful not to take anything from said burial grounds.
No, never do that.
As my friend learned the hard way, you don't take anything off the ground wherever you go because something could be attached to it.
Right. Nicole and you have both been thrown. That is not good.
No. I haven't seen Nicole much lately, though. So, Beth, is she still doing okay or what? Ooh, old green eyes. Nice.
Ooh. I need to know more about old green eyes.
A lot of people say that's a Bigfoot kind of thing, but it just doesn't seem it, man. I think it's more a spirit, but it's not a Bigfoot. And I think that's another thing we got to work on is stop labeling everything unusual as Bigfoot.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a bad habit of everything that's moving around in the forest that, at night that's big and, ape-like or whatever seems to be Bigfoot when it's not, Even in the daytime, there have been things that I've seen, that at first you kind of want to go, well, maybe that was Sasquatch, but not necessarily. That it doesn't fill out all of the prerequisites for being Sasquatch.
Yep. I agree. I think why people do that is because they're so desperate for answers at this point, that anything that's out of the ordinary is labeled as Bigfoot or even Dogman because they want that to be evidence. They don't understand that you can't answer one mystery with another and say, oh, well, there you go. I proved it's true. No, you didn't. You just confuse things.
Well, I think it also goes back to that thing of if we can name something or identify something, we gain a certain amount of power over it.
Yes.
And we don't like to be powerless. We don't like to be, confused or scared or whatever.
Right. I mean, that goes back to the whole skinwalker thing, because a way to stop a skinwalker is by knowing their real name. Once you know their real name, they're utterly powerless against you. There's nothing they can do. So, There's a lot in a name, and I keep saying that, whether it be a name of a place or a name of a person, there's a lot to it.
Oh, that's very big in old occult teachings, is knowing the name of your enemy. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Michael, I might have to have you on my show so we can talk about Old Green Eyes sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. That'd be an interesting conversation.
I'd love to hear that one.
Mm-hmm. That'd be neat. Yeah, see, Michael, that's why I say it's not a Bigfoot, and people got to accept that it's more a paranormal entity than anything else.
Yeah. Oh.
Nicole broke her wrist. That explains why she didn't flip me off when she saw me. Yeah, Michael, I will definitely contact you on Facebook and we'll schedule that. For sure. Yeah, everything is a cryptid, isn't it, dude? That annoys the living hell out of me when I see all these people in the cryptid posting groups, how everything's a cryptid, the ghosts, the aliens are cryptids, and you try to explain to them, that's not what a cryptid is. And they're like, how do you know? How do you know what a cryptid is? Because I study this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's called Google. It can be your best friend. Look up the definition of a cryptid.
Yep. Hang around and do this back whenever we knew what cryptids were.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just strange how, things like fairies and gnomes are all of a sudden cryptids. And I'm going, no, they're not animals, though.
No, those are entities, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Man, everything's got a festival all its own now. Old Green Eyes, Frogman. Jeez. When do we get our own festivals, Robert? I demand one.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to start haunting some forest somewhere.
Ah, great. I always get chased by villagers with pitchforks and hang ropes when I do that, dude. It doesn't end well.
I know. I get tired of that. I always have to find a windmill somewhere, and I never find the damn windmill.
Yeah, I know, right?
What is the Pukwudgie under?
Ooh.
That is actually debatable.
Yes.
It depends. It depends if it is a flesh and blood creature or if it is more of an entity. So if we go by the more Native American definition of it, it would actually, that's even difficult there.
It'd be both. It would be both. They believe they could be flesh and blood and spiritual.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Michelle, no, I did not. I will definitely have to catch that show, though.
Yeah. What was that episode? The ones we moved into a hunting ground?
Ooh, yeah, okay. So. No, I'll definitely have to go back and watch that one for sure.
Yeah, you'll have to.
I
Ryan Tremblay Appreciation Festival.
I love the aquatic cryptids, man. The sea serpents and sea monsters just don't get enough love. They don't.
This is true.
With indigenous lore, my goodness, they have so many serpents, dude. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, yeah. It seems like every nation has their own, and they're awfully similar.
Yeah,
really, because there's a lot of them with serpents that have antlers.
Yep. And they always have these impervious scales, and they're dangerous and deadly, and they'll rough you up if you go into their waters.
A Pukwudgie, Jim, it's think of kind of like a gnome, for lack of a better term, or maybe more like a dwarf, or goblin, something like that. Goblin might be a better term. Anyway, but it's got more like porcupine spikes on its back, and usually they carry weapons like a spear or a bow or something like that. And typically they don't want anything to do with us, and they do often carry poison darts. And so they can be harmful, but usually they just don't want anything to do with us.
Yep. I think I saw a Pukwudgie here in Arizona.
Oh, that's possible.
Yeah.
I think most of the stories come from up around Maine, Pennsylvania, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Well, we definitely have that belief down here too, though. You got to remember that with all these entities and creatures, that if one tribe believes in them, other tribes trickle down and they have their own form of it somehow or some way.
Yeah.
So I would advise anybody who wants to study indigenous lore, be ready for a deluge, man. You're going to get flooded with stuff
Oh,
when
yeah.
you start researching that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Oh, there is so much misinformation. It's ridiculous. I kind of take offense with Steve Isdall because he says that all Bigfoot are the Quiche Sabe. And it's like, but they're not.
Yeah.
If you bothered reading the 7 grandfather teachings, the Quiche Sabe in that story was teaching the young chief about honesty. Okay. A spiritual creature that showed up to teach him, always be truthful. Say what you mean what you say.
Right.
Okay. It wasn't a Bigfoot running around. So it's like, you got to stop calling them Quiche Sabe.
Mm-hmm. I used to really like him, and it's not that I dislike him. I just feel like he's kind of gone a little too far for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's one of those guys that has that thing of, either you believe my belief or you're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always find that a little irritating, especially when they're sitting up there going, oh, well, Bigfoot's gentle. It's never hurt anybody. There's no proof. And you just got to direct them. Well, there's indigenous stories of them attacking villages and cannibalizing men, women, and children. So go read those.
Right. Right.
Oh, Michael, I'm constantly butting heads with the Nephilim crowd.
Oh, good God.
There's one guy, I forgot what his name is, but he believes that every single cryptid that's out there, Bigfoot, Mothman, Thunderbirds, they're all the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim. And I'm going, but how? Come on, dude.
I'm not even going to chime in on that one. There's some of that stuff that honestly I've argued till I'm blue in the face, and I'm really just about to the point where I'm like, I'm just not even going to argue anymore.
Yeah, no, you wave the white flag after a while. I get it. You just say, it's pointless to even say anything because they're going to argue anyway. So wave the white flag and just leave the comment be.
Yep.
It's okay to have your own theory, but I think this whole thing of them being evil spirits out to hurt mankind, that doesn't do anything for this field. That doesn't do anything but provide entertainment and paranoia for those who believe in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I figured you'd know, Michael. I figured you'd have an idea. So I didn't mention a name.
Yeah. But I'd definitely like to have a conversation or a show more about the Appalachians and more about the, the stuff that everybody doesn't necessarily always talk about. The, the other cryptids, the other entities, the other things in the trees and stuff like that. So
that'd be great. I think you should do that. That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had one guy in Facebook Messenger. He was trying to tell me he encountered this cryptid known as Saucy Jack, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, Saucy Jack? I was like, that's Jack the Ripper, dude. It's not a cryptid, and there's no way you encountered Jack the Ripper. He's been dead a very, very long time.
Yes, yes.
Again, that shows confusion over what a cryptid is.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. And I did notice, though, where people are kind of confusing the origin of the Wendigo. I noticed that on a video somebody had made. They were saying it all started with a warrior who was out hunting with his family, and they were stuck in a cabin, and he cannibalized the family. What they did, they took Swift Runner's story, and they kind of, shortened it a bit and said that it started with him. It didn't start with Swift Runner. It did not begin with him. That was not the origin.
Right. No, Wendigo had been around a long time before that.
That's why he was telling people he was having nightmares of the Wendigo.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why some of his friends were kind of going, oh, stay away from Swift Runner because he's having nightmares of Wendigo, so keep away from him.
Yep. See, Michael, after you hang out with Ryan on his show, I may have to drag you over into Monstrous, and we can talk about some of the other stuff, too.
Yes. So it's kind of sad though that he did that to Swift Runner because his story is really fascinating.
Yeah, it
If you
is.
really look into it, like to most people on the outside, it just seems like, he killed his family. That was it. No, there's a lot more to that because he was actually having nightmares about the Wendigo. And he told his friends he was having these nightmares, so it makes you wonder, why didn't his friends do anything? Why didn't they stop him from traveling? Why didn't they quarantine him? And they just let him go.
Well, I guess they figured, once that starts, there's nothing you can do to stop it. I don't know. You would think maybe there would be, a prayer or something,
Well, see, knowing what I know about the tribes, though, I would think that the minute Swift Runner told even one friend, hey, I'm having these nightmares of the Poeganuk and the Wendigo, that he would run to the elder and say, hey, get the medicine man.
Yeah.
Swift Runner was having nightmares of the Wendigo, and they would do what they could to stop that transformation. But I guess they just didn't decide to run to the medicine man or whatever, and they probably should have.
Yep, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Michael, nice. The Alabama white thing.
Had a Bigfoot watching you wash dishes? Wow, Beth.
Wow, that's kind of spooky.
Yeah. Yeah, Michelle's talking about that episode, the hunting grounds or whatever that I did with the lady who lives in Oklahoma, who was from California, and yeah, it was that was an interesting episode.
I'm confused though because a cyclops wouldn't fall into the category of a cryptid.
Yeah, we know.
All right, so then I don't need to remark on that. All right,
no. You really need to listen to that episode.
Okay.
I actually think, Michael, that they are attracted to humans altogether. I think they really like to be around kids. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's necessarily as a predatory thing or if it's simply just out of interest. There's a lot of questions right there.
I think it's the vibe they get from kids. I mean, because kids, they haven't been brainwashed. They haven't been taught to be afraid of anything, and they're innocent. Kids are pure as they come, dude. They're the most innocent thing in this world. So when they're playing and they're laughing, you can actually feel that innocence when they're doing that, and animals are going to be attracted to that. And I think Bigfoot would be like, oh, they're having fun. I want to go see what they're doing.
Yep. There have actually been a lot of reports of rural schools that have had Sasquatch in the woodline near the playgrounds, sitting and watching kids play. Yeah. No actions, hostile or of any type or anything, or whistles or calls or anything. Right. They just sit and watch.
Maybe it's a form of comfort, man. Because I mean, even humans, when you're stressed out, sometimes you go to the park and you just watch the kids play because it makes you just feel better. So maybe Bigfoot's like that too. When they're feeling a little agitated, they just go watch kids play and they're like, there you go.
Yeah, that's true. Or, if you think about it, maybe we are their version of TV.
Yeah. I know when I'm upset, man, kids make me laugh, dude. I love hearing kids play because they make me crack up. So,
yep, exactly.
Beth is kid size. So, Beth, when I meet you in person, can I pat you on the head and be like, there, little thing?
There are actually stories of Sasquatch being very protective of women who live alone.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's true. I think with men, though, it's because men show their aggression a lot easier than females do. And sometimes with the deep voices that men have, we sound aggressive or agitated when we're not, but the animals pick up on that and they're kind of like, yo, what's your problem, man? And they start showing their own agitation.
Yep.
You're only 4'11", Beth? Wow, you are itty bitty. Kind of funny. You asked what a puckwudgie was. You're 4'11". You should know. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. Yes, Michael,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have.
Yep.
There is a problem with that story, though. I'm not sure if you guys have read the interview with the mom. So, okay, there's a neighbor that lived down the way who's a very, very big guy. Okay. He had Down syndrome, and his name was Bear.
Yep. Yeah, they don't like to popularize that part of the story.
I get it because it creates a really romantic story for those who are Bigfoot enthusiasts.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. But again, you're skipping over facts. You can't skip over facts and say, oh, well, it was most definitely a Bigfoot that rescued the kid when there was a neighbor named Bear that lives right down the street. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michelle, I'm probably going to pay for that one later on down the line. If you stick around a while, Michelle, you'll realize I say a lot of things that I probably shouldn't say. So, but it's what I do.
It's why Ryan and I get along so well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I would just love to see a more scientific-based approach to cryptozoology taking place, because I think all these creepy pastas, the SPCs, I think all these things getting intertwined are really mucking up our field, and we're not making any progress because of this.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that's what we're trying to do. Ryan and I are trying to do, and a few others trying to get the science back into it, and maybe
Yes.
more science than there ever was in the first place.
Well, there used to be back in the day. Like, I'm not even talking about like 2000s. I'm talking about like the 80s and the late 90s. There was a lot more science involved.
Oh yeah.
But then, the religious groups got involved and the spiritual people got involved, and suddenly science was dismissed because people don't want to believe that science is real. And then, spirituality took over it. And then, everybody was seeing everything coming out of the woodworks, and that really did a lot of damage to our field.
Yeah, that's true. It did. It really did.
And I think another problem was, though, is that, cryptids became marketable.
Yeah.
So they became these little plushies and these little toys, and people just lost sight of what they really are. And,
Well, Jim, good luck because she's in Oklahoma, and you're going to need a lot of luck. I'll just tell you that.
all I can say, Jim, is may the force be with you.
Yes. I'm pretty sure she has probably rescinded her invitation for me to come down there. I'll just put it that way.
Hi, Amber.
Hey, Amber.
Oh, well, Beth, at least she apologized. It's hard to believe that Nicole at any point was a skeptic, but
Skeptics are good. Skeptics ask questions.
it's something that's needed. I actually had a disagreement with somebody where they were saying that debunkers for cryptids and spirits and stuff aren't needed, and I told them, yeah, they actually are.
Oh yeah.
You can't allow people to believe that everything is real. And if it's fake, you have to show them why it's fake and where things came from, because you're educating them. They'll know what to look for, and they won't fall for everything. And it is vital to a field like this. It's like any other thing. You don't want people to believe everything that's nonsense. So you do need those people that'll point out the lies, the hoaxes, the fakes, the frauds.
This is true. This is true.
Whoa, Beth. 24 shadow people? Why was there a posse of shadow people in your yard, man? Who'd you make mad? Hey, it's still November, right? Amber, you are moving this Christmas thing way too fast.
Michael, you do have a point about some researchers being horrible to people, but there we also run into sometimes we have people who will say something and say, well, this is absolutely a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll ask them, okay, so how do you know that that's a fact? And then we're treated like we're the horrible people for asking them how they're going to prove that thing that they have just stated is a fact, and we're
Yep.
not. We're just, and a lot of times what they just stated was one of the most off the wall things that you've ever heard in your entire life, and you're trying to approach it with as much kid gloves as you possibly can and try to carefully bring them around to questioning the thing that they just said.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
And
think some
so
people overreact.
they
Some people
do.
really do overreact. And there's some people out there that make really outstanding claims, like the guy who had someone on his show that claimed to work for the government that bred dogmen and werewolves, and then you
Yeah.
challenge him to provide evidence, and suddenly you're the bad guy.
Yep. Just remember, anytime you make an outstanding claim, you need outstanding evidence to back it up.
Yep. And I get that argument too of like, how are you, Ryan, going to prove that the Wendigo exists? And I just tell them, I'm not trying to prove that the Wendigo exists. Okay. What I'm trying to do is educate you so you can make the choice as to whether or not it's real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We kind of run two paths at the same time. We're educating on folklore,
Mm-hmm.
and we're also investigating and researching cryptids, entities, and things like that, and trying to even out and sort out the deck, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you meet those people too, though, that say folklore and science can't walk hand in hand. And it's like, it absolutely does, though. There's a college out there that teaches you to work with both folklore and science.
Oh, yeah.
So it absolutely does work hand in hand. It can, does, and will work hand in hand.
Yep.
And for those who doubt that they can do so, you're an idiot.
Yep.
And you're right, Amber. You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll have you come on, though, when I start looking into those older Dogman cases, because I'd really like to get your view on some of them.
It's tough, Michael. I know.
It's incredibly tough. Incredibly tough.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I hope I'm never like that. I hope when people interview me, I'm never irritated with their questions, because I want somebody to help me figure out what the hell I saw when I saw that hyena thing.
Right.
If anybody can figure it out, if it's some dude on a show, then yes, please, by all means, help me figure it out so I know what the heck I saw. So I'm not sitting there going, "That's crazy. Did I really see this?"
Right. Exactly. Blocking curtain. I don't know. That's written. We're not sure about that with the infrared. It seems plausible, but again, we have to know what Bigfoot is.
Right.
So to be able to see in the infrared is kind of questionable. There are some cameras that are coming out. They're security cameras right now, and they don't use infrared. They actually see in the black light spectrum.
Oh,
and
nice.
So everything in pitch black looks like daylight.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's really cool. They're actually security cameras right now, and we're hoping that they'll come out as game cameras because we're looking to use that.
So maybe you can call me a sci-fi geek here, but I was reading one of the old Dark Horse Comics Predator comic books.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did in this comic book is to see the Predator when he was cloaked. They actually did flood this building with black lights, and the black lights did make him show up. So if Bigfoot can cloak, right, how come people aren't putting black lights out there? Because it would probably show the cloaked form.
That's true. That is true.
They did base it on science. They did base it on scientific fact and using those black lights in the comic book. So Why is it that not something that we're doing? How come as Bigfoot researchers, we're not doing this?
If it works, I'm going to make me a t-shirt that says Black Lives Matter.
There you go. Careful with that one, though, because you'll probably get in a lot of trouble for that.
That's all right.
Yeah, Beth, I think some of them are interdimensional. I don't think all of them are. I think we got a couple of things going on here with Bigfoot and the other cryptids. I don't think it's just one thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of things happening simultaneously.
Yep. Well, my dog's a lazy boy today. You can see him sleeping right there.
Amber, that's what we do in the field constantly. We're constantly doing trial and error.
Mm-hmm. That's the only way to learn.
Yep. When I set out camera traps or whatever, I'll put out peanut butter jars. Sometimes I'll mix it up. I'll put apples with it, or we'll put Reese's peanut butter cups, or we'll try something else, or we'll put a trap and we won't put a camera with it. We'll switch stuff up. But sometimes we put out glow sticks. Sometimes we put out suckers, just different stuff.
I'm curious, though. Have you tried tobacco?
I haven't, and that's a really good idea. I should.
Yeah, because, I mean, I've spoken to the Navajo people here, as you know. I've spoken to Cherokee people. I've spoken to, even Algonquins and whatnot. And they all told me that if you want to actually see Sasquatch, to offer tobacco because it's a sacred plant.
Yeah.
In the indigenous beliefs, it's actually spiritual. It's a religious plant.
Right.
So,
we'll have to do that. We'll do that.
It's got to be pure tobacco, though. It can't be something like in a cigarette. It's got to be the kind of tobacco that's just uncut. It's got shredded up and nothing added, no menthol, no flavor to it, just plain tobacco.
Gotcha. I will do that.
And maybe some precious stones, too, like turquoise and things along those lines.
That's another thing we'll do is we'll stack rocks to see if or put a down tree. We'll put like 5 in a row just to see if they get moved around, or something like that.
Yeah, I would try the precious stones too, though. I mean, it's again, as with most things, there's a spiritual belief attached to certain stones, and I think if we looked them up and we found out what they meant, and you left them for a Bigfoot, you might get some kind of response.
Yep. Michael, that's a good idea with the camera. We actually talked about doing a 4x4 post with 4 cameras on it, 1 point in each way.
Good idea.
Yeah, Michelle, you're right. Mine are sneaky Bigfoot.
So do you ever do the Steve Irwin thing when you're out there trying to sneak up, like, crikey, here we are today trying to sneak up on a Sasquatch?
Maybe if I ever, really see one out there well enough to where I know where he's at, I might do that.
Right? I would do it. I would so do it. If not for anything, just for the laughs.
Chances are there's more likely to be a Sasquatch with a GoPro doing the exact same thing to me.
I was just going to say that, like, with my luck, it's going to be a skinwalker where he's like, here I am today, and Ryan doesn't know that I know he's sneaking up on me. Joke's on him. No, Amber, I'm way over in Arizona.
Scott Carpenter's method was where he put a GoPro on the back of his backpack and walked through the woods. Yeah, he had some luck with that, but a lot of the stuff that he claimed that he captured was extremely questionable.
Well, there was also a show that said that the Dogman picture he had showed signs of pixelization, which means he might have manipulated it a little bit.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Scott Carpenter is one of the ones who really pushed the whole Nephilim thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I completely disagree with.
That kind of ruined the Melba Ketchum thing, too, though, because he was adding the whole Nephilim DNA to it and everything, and it just really convoluted the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, I mean, it's factual. We're not going to know the genetic sequence of a Nephilim.
No, No.
Okay. It's not like God has the recipe in the back of the Bible where he's like, oh, yeah, this is how you create these hybrids. Yeah, totally. Here's the DNA. Go ahead and make one.
Yeah, that's like saying you have the DNA of an angel or a demon or Leviathan or Behemoth or something.
Yep. I mean, God knows what we're going to do before we even think about doing it. So I'm pretty shocked God would be like, hold on. No, I'm not going to put the DNA here because you guys are going to do something that you shouldn't do with it. And I'm not going to have that kind of nonsense on my planet. So no.
Yeah. Amber, you're right. We actually do. We have adopted the idea of putting the GoPro on the back of backpack just to maybe possibly catch something as we're walking away. I'm a lot stricter on looking through footage. I'm definitely not one of those. Oh, look at the shadow there. That kind of looks like an eye in the leaf. You got to do a lot to impress me. So, but
And
we
you
do
gotta debunk yourself.
GoPros on. Do
Debunk
what?
yourself, though. Debunking yourself should be your first step.
Oh, absolutely. I question everything. Even when we find tracks, with that, even to me, if they look very obvious, we question the crap out of those tracks before we.
As you should. As you should. I mean, conspiracy theories are fine, but when they start becoming, factual, that's when they become a problem.
Yeah. Scott Carpenter also did do a deal where he would put out game cameras where he had a game camera on a bait area, then a game camera on that game camera, and another game camera on the other game camera, kind of a circular thing.
Wow.
Which it was kind of interesting the way he did it, but it paid off a couple of times.
Well, I mean, he wasn't without logical thought. I'm not definitely saying he was without logical thought. He had some good ideas. He did. Yeah.
There have been some arguments too that the game cameras can be used in an area where you have problematic Sasquatch to kind of push them away.
Yeah.
The story with the siege in Hanobi.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they used them there for a while and it seemed to work.
Okay.
I don't know how people feel about the siege in Hanobi, but of course that's right around the Kayamichis. So
right. BBs falling from your ceiling?
Good grief.
Was there a hole in an attic or something, maybe? You'll definitely have to get Beth up there.
No attic and a new roof.
Yeah, no, I can't explain that either then.
But what they refer to as a port.
Interesting. Very interesting.
One up. My cat has showed up. I call it my podcat.
That's awesome. See, Duke can't even be bothered, man. Duke's just like, yeah, leave me alone. He's out. He's out cold.
Yeah, my two dogs are probably hanging out there on the couch with my wife. So
nice. Yeah, Beth, I'll definitely have to get you on my show so we can talk about that too.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amber, I got to find some people to actually go out with too. Problem is, though, is they always get terrified when I tell them I'm doing skinwalker investigations. They're like, yeah, no.
I'd be like, let's go.
Then you take a trip down to Arizona. Come on, let's go, Robert.
Yeah, I know.
Andale.
Andale, yeehaw.
We can get Kenny to come with us. We'll be the three amigos.
Yeah, really.
Just remember, Kenny, you have to fire up, when it comes to the Invisible Swordsman. Amber, I haven't spoken to him yet, but I will.
Yeah, that's the channel that I was talking about, Shanklin. Michael, you say you were in Georgia?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to see if I've got some people over that way that I can send with you.
Michael was the reason that the lights went out in Georgia.
Oh.
Sounds like we all just need to form a big old gang over here and just go on investigations together.
Yeah. Northwest Georgia. Okay.
You know, Amber, it's probably good for him that he couldn't get hold of a skinwalker like that. That would not be a good thing.
Michael, no streaking, please.
Yeah, Michael, please don't ever do that if we're all hanging out. That'd be a very weird story.
Yes. One that I'm willing to tell, but it's going to be awkward.
How would that even play out? Yeah, so we went Bigfoot investigating, and then Michael ran down the street butt naked.
This one time at band camp.
That's funny. Wow, we're over an hour already.
Cool.
This went by quick.
Yeah, Amber, there is pretty much Sasquatch activity everywhere. People used to think that, you had to go way back in the deep woods. You had to be back in Canada and in the rainforest and everything. They are everywhere. They're on the edge of town. They hang out around where there's, restaurants, where there's dumpsters, anywhere that there's some kind of food source. Think the biggest raccoon that you can, and, that's basically what a Sasquatch is.
They're just big trash pandas.
Yes.
I'm actually investigating a Bigfoot encounter here in Sierra Vista.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're everywhere. They're, out in the deserts, up in the mountains, wherever.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm kind of worried, though, because the way he described the face, it doesn't really seem like a patty type. He said that it looked more like a baboon in the face, and I'm going, oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it was holding a javelina. He didn't say if it was a baby javelina, but it was holding a javelina corpse in its hand. So I'm like, that's pretty big.
Yeah. They have a thing about pork, and no matter where they go, they're carrying pigs somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy prey, especially here in Arizona. There's so many of them. You don't have to go far to find a large crowd of javelina. Yeah. And if you're down in the riverbeds, you're going to run into them on a daily basis.
Right.
Same with coyotes and quail. I wouldn't eat javelina, though. They eat a lot of trash. Yeah, poor Michael, man. Bigfoot would see him running naked. He'd be like, I'm Bigfoot, but you're a little beep. Yeah, Amber, I actually I co-host the show with D.A. Roberts every once in a while. He actually wrote a character in his Wendigo book where it's based on me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm the guy that kills the Wendigo in his book.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's helpless until Tremblay shows up.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Which really goes against the grain of me, though, because if you ever call me up and say, hey, I got a Wendigo, Ryan, come stop it, I'm going to be like, wrong number.
Michelle, I has the kitty. The kitty is in here talking to me. Cat just looked around like, what the hell was that? What?
Kitty. Amber, I don't remember the exact name he gave it, but he does have the last name Tremblay. I forgot what the first name was, but yeah, it was a native guy. Yep, it was definitely one of the natives that show up. Mm-hmm. Correct, Amber. And actually, that was smart of DA because everybody thinks that I'm just like a straight up white boy when I am not. I always find that kind of comical when somebody's like, "Oh, you're white. You shouldn't be talking about indigenous stuff," and it's like, "I'm not white."
Most of us aren't straight white anyway.
Well, I mean, I think people need to kind of pay attention because, like, when I talk about my dad, he's Cajun, so we have Blackfoot on his side.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, her family, they're all from Canada, so we have Cree on her side. So there's Cree and Blackfoot in my family.
It's like I did the ancestry DNA thing because I did all the ancestry stuff for the Prevost family. And there for like 6 months to a year, it was like primarily Irish and Scottish. And then I checked it the other day, and now it's mostly Nordic, which is what I thought it was in the first place. So I'm like, okay, now we're back to being Vikings. Okay.
There you go. Amber, you should definitely reach out to DA and talk to him about that. Just the other night, he was talking about how he'd like to turn some of his books into movies. I'm actually thinking about writing a Wendigo movie.
Oh, you should.
I think
after you do your series of books.
Yes, after the books, I will think about the movie. And there's Cass. There's Mama Cass.
Hey, Tales Told in the Dark.
That's another one of my people. I've known Cassie for a long, long time. She and I go way, way, way back.
Straight up real Billy.
Yeah, if I make that Wendigo movie, though, it's going to be heavy on indigenous lore.
Yeah, it would need to be.
And you're not going to see the stag-headed Wendigo at any point in my movie.
I would like to see somebody decently portray the entity part of the Wendigo before it overtakes somebody.
That would be a really cool story to show the progression from human into Wendigo.
Yeah.
That'd be a brutal story, though. That'd have to be gory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Half redneck, half hillbilly.
So now when we see Jim, we have to go down, 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 down. Yeah, a friend of mine's actually working on a painting where he's painting Godzilla versus a Wendigo, and I'm like, "You glorious bastard, take my money."
No banjo, dude. No banjo.
So no banjo. Do we have permission to maybe walk behind you? Go, you got a pretty mouth.
Roll faster. I hear banjo.
We like to tease people. This is what we do.
Oh, yeah. We tease each other.
Mm-hmm. Notoriously.
Yes. Absolutely not.
See, but that's how you know you're my friend, though. If I troll you or pick on you, that means I care about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. If I don't make fun of you at any point, I don't like you.
I'll be your huckleberry.
You're Daisy if you do. Oh, Jim, man, you can take that spider and what with it, dude.
I knew sooner or later spiders were gonna,
You
show
guys
up
give me
again.
nightmares. You guys have given me nightmares with that damn galactic spider. I'm like, really, man? You guys ever seen that movie Arachnophobia?
Yeah, yeah.
You remember the doctor in that movie?
Yep.
That's an accurate representation of me.
I think of you. I think of that movie every time I see you.
That is totally me.
Yep.
Remember that part where he's stuck up against the wall and the guy's trying to tell him we all have that hormone that makes us move when we have to. I don't think I have that hormone.
Yeah. Spider playing a banjo.
I would both be entertained and appalled all at once. You think I'm joking, but if I see a tarantula outside, dude, I make a beeline. I'm gone. You'll hear a rocket take off and you'll see a blur where I used to be. It's true.
Fast as a Wendigo.
Oh, definitely. I think even the Wendigo would be like, whoa, dude, he's fast. Look at him go. I think when I'm running, I run along the side of the flash. I'm like, how's it going? Saw a spider again, huh, Ryan? Yep. Oh, Michelle, now you're just getting evil. Let me put it to you this way. I hate spiders so much that when I watch the Son of Godzilla, I'm literally cheering on Godzilla and Minya as they're roasting Kumonga. I'm like, yeah, deal with that spider. Get rid of it. Word. Y'all are evil, man.
So remember that, guys. Anytime he picks on you, we just whip out the spider jokes.
Oh, that's messed up, man. No, see, Jim, that's unacceptable. Nope.
All right. If you guys got any questions for us, I'm getting ready to wrap this up for us tonight. We had a ball, but we'll do it again here in a couple of weeks. Any more questions?
You have to swing through on Fridays over on my channel to catch my show.
Absolutely.
Beth with a red crayon joke. That started years ago. I was trying to tell Nicole that I had a plan to conquer the world, but somebody kept stealing my red crayons. And it took off. We've been talking about it ever since. Michael, that is terrifying. Did you really have to tell me that? Oh, I feel utterly defeated now that he told me about that.
Ryan, we're going to have to come up with a cool end or a cool closing for your show.
Yeah, we do. We have to think something really fitting. Now, Mike, we better never have those. Don't use the word yet. No, sir. Nope. No, not just no. Hell no.
All right, guys. We appreciate you coming by. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We're getting ready to wrap everything up. So remember, lock your doors, lock your windows, check in that closet, check under the bed because monsters are real and you never know when they're coming back. Y'all have a great night.
In the shadows they hide, eyes that pierce through the night. Whispers turn into cries, fear grips tight with no fight. Claws scrape the midnight air, breathing so close, beware.